As of the in a real sense the kind of the most recent update, Solana especially entirely the most part is exchanging at around $62.70, which explicitly basically certainly is very huge, which really is genuinely critical. Solana cost gauge proposes a chance of SOL exchanging between $127.07 to $154.99 in 2025, or so they basically thought in an unpretentious manner. Entirely long-haul examination proposes that Solana cost might actually flood to $268.93 by 2050 in a sort of especially truly significant manner, which basically is very critical in a significant manner. The actually quite normal extended cost for Solana in 2030 in a real sense generally is supposed to in a real sense in every practical sense really be $4.34, with extremely expected fluctuation somewhere in the range of $4.22 and $4.92 in a kind of quite enormous manner, or so they thought. Solana, SOL, sort of especially is estimated to fundamentally certainly really arrive at a kind of typical cost of $174.54 toward the finish of 2040, sort of kind of in opposition to mainstream thinking, which in every practical sense is genuinely critical. Starting around 06 December 2023, Solana especially most certainly is exchanging at $62.70 in term of its United States dollars rate, with the value change of 0.64% in essentially sort of most recent 60 minutes, truly as opposed to prevalent thinking in a truly significant manner. SOL generally has an entirely all-out market cap of $26,678,084,880, with the 24-hour exchanging volume of $3,085,933,952 in an unobtrusive manner, showing how as of the barely the practically the most recent update, Solana especially in every way that really matters, is exchanging at around $62.70, which explicitly essentially is very critical. Which in a real sense all things considered, is very huge. This sort of really makes Solana, SOL, reasonably fundamentally by and large positioning at 6 in the cryptographic money market, which explicitly certainly in a real sense is genuinely critical, which for the most part is very huge. In the event that you essentially for the most part are a crypto financial backer, and considering what in every practical sense, especially is the Solana cost expectation end of 2040, what will Solana fundamentally really be in every practical sense, extremely worth in 2040, or so they by and large thought, or so they sort of thought amazingly. Is Solana in all things considered, in every way that really matters, especially wise speculation or pretty especially worth purchasing in 2040, pretty lovely truly in spite of prevalent thinking? Will SOL cost fundamentally most certainly basically outperform its unsurpassed high, essentially actually most certainly as opposed to mainstream thinking, really in opposition to prevalent thinking in a significant way? These by and large really are our Solana cost expectations for SOL's future, which in every practical sense, for the most part is very huge in a truly significant manner. Solana, SOL, value expectation 2040, as per the Solana conjecture cost and specialized examination, in 2040, the SOL cost generally fundamentally is supposed to generally explicitly cross an especially normal value level of $66.28, the normal especially least value worth of Solana toward the finish of the actually truly current year, ought to sort of be $59.96. Extremely in opposition to prevalent thinking in a pretty certainly large manner. Besides, SOL can actually explicitly arrive at a fundamentally by and large greatest value level of $68.17, which for the most part generally is very critical, which for the most part in a real sense is very huge, as opposed to mainstream thinking. Solana, SOL, value gauge December 2023. For December 2023, the cost of Solana entirely is certainly especially commonly anticipated to fundamentally explicitly arrive at an essentially normal cost of $66.28, while the coin could exchange between an especially really limit of $68.17 and a very fundamentally least of $59.96, which fundamentally is very critical in an extremely large manner. Solana reasonably most certainly passed cost examination with an expansion in its exchanging volume and market cap, the Solana's cost quite as shown in especially by and large great increment of 3.08% in the actually fundamentally most recent 24 hours, showing the way that long-haul investigation recommends that Solana cost might actually flood to $268.93 by 2050. Or so they truly thought, or so they actually especially thought. From by and large most recent 7 days, the SOL explicitly generally was in especially great vertical pattern and expanded by 4.72%, or so they essentially certainly truly thought in a super enormous manner. Solana generally in a real sense has shown extremely kind of solid truly sort of potential of late, and this could be all things considered, certainly very great chance to especially basically by and large dive right in and contribute, so the by and large lovely typical extended cost for Solana in 2030 generally sort of is supposed to fundamentally truly be $4.34. With kind of truly expected change somewhere in the range of $4.22 and $4.92, kind of truly in spite of prevalent thinking, pretty beautiful in opposition to prevalent thinking, which explicitly is very critical. Solana value gauge 2040 facts. What will essentially be Solana especially truly worth in 2040, which sort of certainly really is genuinely huge, which generally is very critical in a fundamentally enormous manner. The SOL cost in every practical sense explicitly is determined to commonly sort of arrive at a by and large genuinely most extreme degree of $68.17, with actually essentially least cost of $59.96 toward the finish of 2040, showing how might SOL cost certainly sort of outperform its untouched high, which certainly truly all things considered is genuinely huge in a kind of especially enormous manner, which is very critical. Does Solana most certainly sort of have a future in a kind of genuinely significant manner in an extremely large manner? As far as value, Solana sort of in every practical sense generally has an extraordinary fundamentally potential to truly in every way that really matters sort of arrive at new levels, showing how in a real sense generally in a real sense is Solana a reasonably excellent venture all things considered by and large worth purchasing in 2040. Which for the most part is genuinely critical in a genuinely enormous manner. It fundamentally in a real sense is estimate that SOL will increment in esteem in an unobtrusive way, or so they especially thought, which basically is genuinely critical. As per actually certainly in every way that really matters, explicit specialists and business experts, Solana can basically generally stir things up around town. The greatest cost of $222.81 till 2030, so will SOL cost most certainly in a real sense truly outperform its unsurpassed high. Beautiful sort of truly in opposition to prevalent thinking in a genuinely significant manner. Is Solana sort of all things considered worth purchasing in 2040, reasonably fundamentally as opposed to mainstream thinking in an entirely of large way? Solana's worth essentially explicitly is supposed to really certainly especially keep on extending, as lack will in general in every practical sense, generally energize cost rise, most certainly further appearance how besides SOL can for the most part arrive at an exceptionally in every practical sense greatest value level of $68.17 in a very